Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a major contemporary challenge for our common future on the planet, that is to say, the environment. The environment is one of the favorite topics of the people who create your exam subjects, okay? So very often you find topics, subjects on the environment in your exam papers. The environment, education and new technologies are the three favorite topics and have been the three favorite topics for the past few years. So be aware of that and concentrate on learning the vocabulary and the concepts and the examples and the ideas behind this topic of the environment. We're going to start first with the situation and the issues at work, the situation of the environment, the impact human beings have on the environment, and in return, the impact, the consequences of the climate change, for example, on human societies. Then we'll have a look at the possible solutions that exist to fight against this climate change. So first of all, let's have a look at the situation and the current issues. The main situation is that the planet is warming up. There is what is called global warming. This global warming has been measured by scientists, and it is part of a general trend of warming up. The Earth is naturally warming up, but this natural trend is emphasized, is even worse because of human activity, and this has been proven in the past few years. Why is the Earth warming up? Why is there this global warming? Because of what are called greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases, such as CO2, come from CO2 emissions from human beings who are burning too much oil or too much coal. Be careful here. Oil means pétrole and coal, charbon. So human beings are burning too much oil, too much coal, therefore emitting too much CO2, too many greenhouse gases, and it creates a kind of greenhouse around the atmosphere, in the atmosphere, and the Earth is warming up. As temperatures rise around the globe, the ice melts. Where can you find this ice? For example, in ice caps in the North Pole and the South Pole, like les calottes glaciaires, ice caps. Or also the pack ice, the floe. The floe is la banquise, which is melting also, and glaciers that you find on the top of mountains, for example, which are melting too. What does this mean? What is the consequence of that? As you know, it means that there is more fresh water. Fresh means douce, d'eau douce, fresh water in the seas, and the sea levels rise around the globe. One particular impact on human societies is that some places are getting and will more and more get flooded. And there are people have to evacuate, and there are what are called even more and more climate refugees in regions of the world such as Pacific Islands, such as Bangladesh, for example, which are very low-lying places. They are very close to the sea level, and they get flooded permanently very easily. Another issue that the planet and human beings are facing is the deforestation. There is a deforestation process, and also the desert in some places is gaining ground. There is a desertification process as well. Why is there a deforestation, for example? Well, because in many parts of the world, such as the Amazon, for example, in Brazil or in South America, big companies use the wood as timber, or they chop the trees in order to plant big fields of, for example, corn or, for example, soy, which these crops are very profitable. And so companies looking for profit are chopping down, cutting down the trees in major forests, such as the Amazon forest, which are known to be the lung of the earth. Therefore, these crops are gaining ground, and there are less and less trees, so more and more deforestation. This heating up and this deforestation also leads to problems of food supplies, because when a company cuts down trees in Brazil, for example, it's not to plant food for humans to eat. It's usually to plant food for cattle to eat. That is to say, cows, for example. The soy that they are planting is not for human consumption. It's either for fuel or for to make food to feed cattle. Therefore, it creates a kind of food crisis. You have seen that in the recent years, that in many countries where there has been, for example, a drought or political problems, on top of those global warming problems, there is a lot of social unrest. The prices of food rise also, and there is a lot of social unrest, a lot of demonstrations. So you see that the environment can have an impact on societies. For example, what is going to happen to all those climate refugees? What is going to happen in countries where the food prices, the basic food prices, are soaring, are skyrocketing? And this is going to have an impact on the whole world, and it's already having an impact on the whole world. Another current issue, which is linked also with this idea of agriculture, is the use of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, and also fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, or also products to protect the plants. These chemicals are based on oil. They are oil-based products, and they have depleted the soils. That is to say, now, if you put a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers, paradoxically, on a large piece of land, the soil will die, because all the bacteria, all the good bacteria, the worms, etc., die off. And you need even more and more fertilizers to make the plants grow, which is quite paradoxical, but which is a reality of today's agriculture, or at least today's agro-business. So the soils are depleted, the soils become very poor, and therefore the effects of droughts are stronger, the effects of floods are stronger, because this soil is not anchored on the ground. It can just wash away with floods. Linked to that spread of chemicals that are used in agriculture is the spread of genetically modified organisms, also called GMOs, which are taking over, in some countries, they are taking over the number of conventional crops. In the US, for example, and in some other countries, Asian countries or African countries, GMOs are being promoted to replace conventional crops. Conventional means traditional. We'll see in class how these GMOs are contested and denounced by activist groups, environmentalists. Just for the moment, it is clear that some GMOs have an effect on animals. For example, there was research done on one of Monsanto's, we'll talk about Monsanto, one of Monsanto's GMO corn that was proven to create digestive problems in lab rats, for example. But we'll talk about this in class. So who owns these GMOs, because all the GMO seeds are the property of big companies. The most famous company you may know is Monsanto. There's also Syngenta, which is also an agro-business company which sell seeds and fertilizers and herbicides, etc. So this is, of course, a question of profits and of shares of market. These companies they have invented, they claim that they have invented those GMO seeds which contain some new gene in them in order to fight against insects, or to fight or to bring something more to the seed. So they have a kind of monopoly, Monsanto and Syngenta, on certain seeds and certain seed markets. We'll see that in class with the example of the farmers in India, where Monsanto was very aggressive in its targeting Indian farmers and trying to sell them as much GMO seeds as possible, because Europe had refused to buy them, so they had to find a new market. This new market, one of the new markets was India. And this has led to the fact that farmers could not afford to buy, after a while, those seeds. And many farmers committed suicide because they became bankrupt after becoming indebted to Monsanto, because they had to buy the seeds over and over again. It's part of the marketing strategy of Monsanto. The seeds that you buy 1 year, you cannot reuse the seeds from the plants to plant again the year after. Traditionally, farmers do that. They sow the seeds, the plants grow, they they pick the plant, and they take the seed of the plant to replant the year after. With Monsanto seeds, with GMO seeds, you cannot do that. First of all, because Monsanto thinks it's infringing copyright laws. So the seeds are Monsanto's property. You cannot reuse them again without buying them. And also because those seeds are barren and they do not give as much output as the seeds that you buy, the new seeds that you buy. So there's a whole marketing strategy that will have to be explained in class. Overall, as we saw, there's a global warming caused by burning too much oil and coal. There's this issue of chemicals, oil-based chemicals that are used in the agro-business. Therefore, there is a rising consciousness about the problem of oil. Okay, the problem posed by oil and fossil fuels in general. Scientists differ on the matter, but many say that the oil supplies are getting lower and lower. They are dwindling in the Arabian Peninsula, at least, and the prices are going down too, because the U.S. production is going up. The US wants to be independent politically and economically from the Arabian Peninsula countries, and is boosting its own production in the Gulf of Mexico, in Alaska, etc. So the prices are going down, which is a problem for the people who sell and buy oil, and which also has an impact on consumption, because if the prices of oil go down, the prices of petrol at the petrol station will go down too, and people will not hesitate to use their car and will continue polluting, emitting CO2. Where do these oil supplies come from? I've told you they come from the OPEC nations, from the main producers, Arabian Peninsula, some in South America like Venezuela. The OPEC determines the production, the level of production and the level of prices, so it controls the global market. And the USA want to get out of that and exploit their own oil, and the exploitation of oil supplies in the Gulf of Mexico has overtaken in terms of quantity the production of Saudi Arabia, for example, in 2014. And the US now produces most of the oil it uses. 67% of the oil used in the US comes from domestic production, less and less from the OPEC countries, and more from Canada too. It's trying to stay in this region. There are, however, potential new supplies in Russia, in the Arctic Circle, for example, but some environmentalists say that it's not good news, because it will increase again and again the use of petrol by the populations, and therefore it will increase and it will not stop global warming, which is a real worry. Another fundamental worry of the population is caused by such disasters as the Fukushima nuclear disaster that happened 5 years ago. Nuclear energy and nuclear waste are also concerns. They are seen as bringing electricity, as a positive way to produce electricity, but they are also seen as a concern because of what to do with the nuclear waste and what to do in case of an accident, such as what happened in Fukushima, what happened in Chernobyl 25 years ago, etc., etc. So these are all the concerns linked with the environment in today's society. When I say society, I mean the whole world, really, because the North and the South countries are concerned about this topic. We'll see in the next video, let's be a little bit more optimistic, what the possible solutions are at the moment to deal with this environmental disaster that is looming. See you in the next video.